Did you know that Odysseus won his wife Penelope not through wealth or strength, but by solving someone else's marriage problem first? Helen of Sparta, the most beautiful woman in all of Greece. Every powerful king and prince wanted her hand in marriage, but her father, King Tyndareus, faced a nightmare. He had to choose one suitor and make enemies of all the others. Pick the wrong man, and Greece would tear itself apart in civil war. Among the crowd stood a young prince from rocky Ithaca. His name was Odysseus. He wasn't the richest, he wasn't the strongest, but he was the cleverest. Odysseus looked around and realized something. He had no chance of winning Helen, but he saw opportunity where others saw only competition. He approached Tyndareus with a deal. "I'll solve your problem if you help me win someone else." That someone else? Penelope, Helen's cousin, the daughter of Tyndareus' brother Icarius, a woman famous not just for beauty, but for intelligence that matched Odysseus' own. Tyndareus agreed immediately. So what was Odysseus' brilliant solution? The oath of the suitors. Every man competing for Helen had to swear a sacred oath. They would protect whoever Helen chose against anyone who wronged him. If Helen were ever stolen or threatened, all the suitors would unite to bring her back. Genius. Tyndareus turned rivals into allies with a single oath. Helen chose Menelaus. No one fought. Greece remained at peace. For now. Tyndareus kept his promise. He went to his brother Icarius and formally negotiated Odysseus' marriage to Penelope. In ancient Greece, marriages required a contract between the groom and the bride's father. Tyndareus brokered the entire arrangement. His royal authority made it happen. Some versions say Icarius demanded a foot race for Penelope's hand. Others say Odysseus had to win her through competition. But with the King of Sparta backing him, Odysseus succeeded. The marriage was set. But here's where it gets interesting. When the wedding came, Icarius didn't want to let his daughter go. He begged Penelope to stay in Sparta instead of leaving for Ithaca. Penelope stood between her father and her future husband. Both men waited. The choice was hers. She said nothing. Instead, she drew her veil over her face. That silent gesture spoke clearly. She chose Odysseus. She would leave her father's house and go with her husband to Ithaca. Icarius, though heartbroken, honored her decision. He even built a shrine to modesty on that very spot. Odysseus and Penelope sailed to Ithaca together. During that voyage across the sea, they truly became partners. He told her about his island kingdom, simple, rocky, but theirs to rule together. She watched how his mind worked, how he navigated by stars, how he led with wisdom. She hadn't just married a hero, she'd married a thinker, her equal. When they reached Ithaca, Penelope became queen. And Odysseus did something extraordinary for their bedchamber. In their courtyard stood an ancient olive tree. Most men would have cut it down to make space. Not Odysseus. He carved the trunk itself into a bedpost, leaving it rooted in the earth. Then he built their entire bed around it, decorated with gold, silver, and purple oxhide. He built the bedroom around this unmovable bed. The olive tree became the living heart of their marriage. It couldn't be moved, couldn't be shaken, literally rooted to Ithaca's soil. When Penelope saw it, she understood. This wasn't just furniture. This was a promise. Their marriage was permanent, fundamental, unbreakable. They told no one the secret of that bed. Only they knew. Within their first years together, Penelope gave birth to a son. They named him Telemachus, far from battle. It was both hope and prayer. Odysseus wanted his son to grow up in peace, away from the wars consuming other Greek families. Those early years were golden. Odysseus and Penelope ruled together, partners in marriage, partners in kingship. Ithaca prospered under their wisdom. But remember that oath? The one Odysseus designed? It came back for him. Helen was stolen, taken to Troy by a prince named Paris. Her husband, Menelaus, called on every man who'd sworn the oath of the suitors. Odysseus didn't want to go. He had everything: a brilliant wife, a young son, a peaceful kingdom. Some stories say he even pretended to be insane, plowing fields with salt, desperate to avoid the call. But when someone placed infant Telemachus in front of his plow, Odysseus swerved to save his son. His sanity was revealed. His trick had failed. Oaths are sacred. Honor matters. Odysseus would have to leave. He didn't know it would take 20 years to come home. 20 years of war and wandering. 20 years while Penelope ruled Ithaca alone, raising their son, fending off suitors who thought Odysseus was dead. But their marriage endured, because it was built like that bed, rooted deep, impossible to move, carved from living wood. When Odysseus finally returned, disguised as a beggar, Penelope tested him. She mentioned moving their bed. Odysseus exploded. "That bed cannot be moved. I built it from a living olive tree, rooted in the ground." Only her true husband would know that secret. The test was passed. After 20 years, they were reunited. So here's what we learned. Odysseus won Penelope not through strength, but through cleverness. He solved one king's problem to win another king's favor. He created an oath that would bind all of Greece and eventually call him to war. But first, he built a marriage rooted like an olive tree.